come up, and they have to play around that. Yehezkiel taking a couple of Rhapsody shots. Oh, bobbing and weaving, trying to get out. Oh!
One more, that's Sonata. But Witty is there to try and make sure to block out the damage coming in from Skylar. Now the Lord has responded here. RRQ, Hoshi, 5 members are surrounding the Lord pit.
RRQ Hoshi's gonna blitz this. They're gonna try to delay it for TLID. There they go,
And
but
they
it's
get
secured.
the Lord.
Sutsujin, again, all of that with Yehezkiel getting forced to basically go heal back up. They didn't have a choice, so they just see it. Great decision for RRQ Hoshi to go ahead and just secure the Lord.
It's really the pokes that comes from Skylar and the range also that you get from Rins. Just look at that. Not even full committing, not even full diving onto the members of TLID. They're able to force TLID to walk away, to retreat, because the damage coming in from Skylar with the Death Sonata is just too much. And as they make quick work on the mid lane turret, they have that Lord up top.
They have the Lord pushing in, BOD now for Sutsujin. Also Skylar, you know, he picked up the Sky Piercer earlier on. So there was a little bit of push there from Fabian down to the bottom side. Might still try to cut that wave a little bit longer. Well, the rest of the team deals with this Lord. A Malefic Gun now for Aaron Shiki. Edok going in position.
Goins in, paired up with a real room manipulation. Here comes the Death
Oh!
and the Queller to bring down Yehezkiel. One member down for TLID. They're trying to get make quick work of this Lord. No inhibitor turrets will be taken down, but RRQ Hoshi, you know they ain't playing around. They want to go for more. They're going to pop the energy shields in the mid lane. TLID has to defend this.
Energy shields are going to be popped. They still hold on, of course, after just that first push with the Lord. But man, RRQ Hoshi able to go ahead and cap out some kills, get turrets. This is exactly what they need. Fabian, though, might be starting a fight.
Oh, okay, electrifying beats there. Forced to use out the Wrath of Dryad coming in from Edok. No casualties still for TLID, and they managed to save the inhibitor turrets.
That's really one of the things that TLID has to do. You know, if they can get the Wrath of Dryad ultimate out from Edok, then that's a big piece of utility that's gone, because that is locking down the members of TLID when they try to rush forward. We saw that exchange earlier on in the mid lane, and so that's why you see them working so hard for it, even if it's Aaron, even if it's Fabian to an extent.
Okay.
Witty, oh, they're gonna press it in again.
Forced out the flicker from Skylar. Robo manipulation coming in from Yehezkiel, but gonna be taken down by the original one. Ren is gonna pick up a kill, plus Sutsujin, a double, and now Dyren enters the picture, gonna bring down Aran and Aaron Shaky as well. A double for Sutsujin. Fabian has to retreat, but it looks like RRQ Hoshi, they're gonna circle around Fabian.
Fabian on the run, still in the mid lane. It's gonna be pushed by Sutsujin.
Oh.
He's all left alone. Fabian, oh, he gets out, but look at the base it's being worked on.
Now RRQ Hoshi, with a beautifully executed play, will manage to extend the series and take game 3.
RRQ Hoshi takes a game in the series. It's not going to be a sweep today, but TLID, great adjustment this time around with the draft, and the execution was exactly what they needed. Now, can they continue to do that? Can we get another 5-game series on our hands, just like we had in our first matchup? Well, for RRQ Hoshi, that's what they have to answer. Can they continue to do that? Can they taste the victory again in this 5-game series?
I think they can. They have to regain back their momentum. They have answered the problems that they've been facing for the past 2 games. And let's see how TLID will react towards a Game 3 loss up against RRQ Hoshi.
See what adjustments are made, but we'll also see what our panel has to say about this game. Gentlemen, what do you think about it?
The kingdom is on the board, and when you're talking about the brawl in Bandung, there's no way you end it with a sweep. RRQ forcing us to go into game number 4. Gentlemen, was the answer all this while ban the Hilda?
I mean, it's been very effective, right? It's stopping them from engaging as easy as before. Stop Aran and what he's comfortable on, but also, you manifested it, Leo. You talked about the Belleric being a potential answer to the Joy.
I think it was stacking circumstance, like just the matter of the Hilda ban, the Belleric into the Joy, Skylar on a solid pick, the first pick Suyo and Sutsujin too.
Yeah, I feel like everything kind of worked out in that draft. For the first time, they felt a little bit in control, and the Hilda was definitely the first piece to complete the puzzle, right? It was the start of things working in their favor, and then once they had that, it gave them the ability to be able to go the Belleric. It gave them the ability to be able to counter the Joy and kind of stack things up along with Skylar.
For the first time in a while, Yehezkiel has died more than once. The Ghost has suffered 3 deaths in this game, and did I not say this? Did I not say that he's gonna have to put himself in the line of fire more often here than he has in what, half a dozen games in M6? And suddenly things change.
It's starting to see the cracks in Team Liquid ID and RQ Hoshi. Their castle is not looking to be sieged today. They're looking to go in for a game number 4, a chance to even out the series.
A solid stopper against the Cavalry's charge. More of that Valentina. We've seen this many times in many an esports event in MLBB Sports, where the Valentina struggles to find an ult to steal and just sits there. Because look, if you're... All right, we know for sure he wants to steal the RWM, yes? If you can't find Rins, what do?
You don't do anything. You sit there and you try to look and you try to search, or you die 3 times. Another thing that I hear that couldn't do much, the Carmilla, right? It felt okay. The idea was kind of there, but we saw a few times that Witty was only able to catch 1 person with that ultimate, only able to catch maybe 2 people with that ultimate. RQ has a type of composition that has poke along with dive, along with Dyron, who's just all over the place. So there wasn't much target, and when they did catch 1 or 2, it felt like RQ was just brute forcing through it. It's like, fine, we'll take this blood pack to the face, we'll take this curse to the face, and then we'll hit you back in the face, and they would win out on top of it.
And everybody had some decent damage from the side of RQ, even Team Liquid ID. But I gotta ask you guys the question, right? We compare TLID and Fnatic, Onyx, all the time when it comes to the X Factor picks, when it comes to out-of-pocket picks. And Fnatic Onyx, their struggle up against Falcons was the X Factor picks. That's when they started losing control of the series, and we're seeing the same pattern happen here again for our second series.
You're saying the download plus the lack of new tricks. At least executable tricks, because Liquid ID, you know, they made the DP work, the double poke, but now here, when they suddenly have these, you know, easy to rely on Valentina and Carmilla, it just doesn't cut it anymore.
I don't even think it was exactly that they did this as a cheese pick. I think they were, RQ for once kind of forced them into this by banning the Hilda, by taking the Eve early, by taking that CO. It forced them to pick force Yehezkiel on a mage that isn't a backline mage. It forced Witty onto something other than the Cho, onto something other than what he's comfortable on. And it faltered.
And this is Liquid ID when they're passive, when they're not allowed to flow with what they want to do. And now suddenly RRQ is in the driver's seat. Let's see how the defending champions of Indonesia are able to clap back and regain momentum. Let's award our MVP this time around from RRQ. It's the mercenary, the babyface assassin. It's Susujin.
The Suyo able to dominate on the scene yet again. I mean, look at the build, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do. But he pulled through for the team, right? 5-1-4. KDA, just a force to be reckoned with. But again, I think this is just more the story of the draft, which is kind of leaning in on who's the victor for this series.
Yeah, they won that game before he was able to even get max items, and that just says something right there.
Very, very fast.
Very quick, and Sujujin played around those turtle pits very well, able to control a lot, able to kind of hold back line, able to dash around and use this Sujujin to the best of his ability. Now, one thing I want to point out too, in this matchup, very different than our last matchup, the Suyo has been winning out against the Joy. And whether it's due to the picks around it or not, it's just an interesting tidbit.
I think it is indeed that. It's no longer just the hero-to-hero individual stats. It's what's wrapped around it. And I agree, because again, folks, we're spelling it out for you. The draft just wasn't as well executed for Team Liquid ID here in game number 3. Hence why Sutsujin Suyo just run roughshod through game 3.
And you know what's funny? You know, I feel like during the beginning of M6, we were finding teams looking for ways to work around the Bruno. But now you're starting to see teams find a way to work around the Joy.
Yeah, finding ways to work around it, or finding them to at least pick a comp that doesn't work around it, in a sense. I love that that last play that we saw there, the Death Sonata, using the Death Sonata to roll out of the RWM. Very clean play by Skylar. It finally feels like we got to see a game where his team was working, so he was working, you know? So he was able to make the plays that he needed to. And it's good to see RQ in that type of form.
Finally, for the first time, the payoff has been set up well for King Skylar. Can they keep up the momentum? We're about to find out as we roll into game number 4. The fact of the matter is, it all starts in the draft, the chess-like battle between the coaches. Coach Kezcute and Coach Saint DeLuca's gotta get locked in. Speaking of chess, Magic Chess Go Go is a multiplayer strategy game now soft launched in Malaysia and Singapore. Pre-registration is now underway for other APAC regions, folks. There's no need for fast fingers, no need to be like Su Tzu-jin, no need to be like Favian, because all you need are strategy and luck. Those are your keys to victory. Team up with your favorite heroes and strategize with friends wherever and whenever. Put your strategies to the test, outsmart your opponents, and claim the ultimate victory. Anybody want to MCGG later tonight?
Down. I'm totally down. GG.
I've never been a chess player, but I feel like now's the perfect time to start.
This has nothing to do with chess.
Actual chess.
Nothing. This is just MCGG. So folks, check it out now. Open up your Play Store, open up your App Store. Game looks amazing on the new ROG Phone Pro 9. With that said, we are setting up for a quick break. Allow our teams to reset. Allow everyone to go grab a drink, grab a snack, go to the bathroom, take care of business, because you're not going to want to miss possibly match point coming up. TLID versus RQ Hoshi here on M6. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the M6 World Championships. You're smack dab in the middle of an upper bracket bout in the semis between Team Liquid Indonesia and RRQ Hoshi. At your service, my name is Leo, here with Trex and Wheezy F Baby. And does that stand for Finisha? What does Liquid ID need to do to get back on the horse and bring it to the kingdom? Because they were in control for what? The majority of the first couple of games.
Well, it seems that the later we get in this series, RQ Hoshi, they're developing more strategies in the draft to force picks into the hands of Team Liquid ID that they're comfortable going up against. If we start with, let's just say Witty, right? He runs this Carmilla, and which wasn't really that effective. I would say a little bit of an out-of-pocket pick, which RQ Hoshi was trying to force in his hands. But then you also have to look at other players as well, like Ezekiel, the Ghost of Jakarta. You mentioned he likes to play the backline mages, but then they force his hand, force him on something that's a little bit more up close and personal, and then he finds more than one death in the game.
Coach T, what's gonna budge?
I think blue side's gonna budge here. TLID's gonna most likely secure it. And this means RQ has to really think and dig down. If the plan is to force Witty and Yehezkiel into things that maybe they're uncomfortable on, do they steal those away in the first pick instead of prioing something else like the Suyo, you know, something other than the Bruno? Maybe go for the immediate Yve, maybe go for the immediate Cho. Some of those picks that Team Liquid ID have been doing so well on.
So I reckon it's gonna come down to the coaches. Coach Kescute, Coach NM, they found the spot where it hurts to attack Team Liquid ID. And now it's up to Coach Saint DeLucas and Facehugger to say, hey, we can adjust. Again, it's the mid duo that it seems like RRQ is just putting a salt in the wound on. You're right. It is gonna have to be that sacrifice on the Suyo, sacrifice on the Bruno / Granger to make the difference. Going into game number 4 now, ladies and gentlemen. Once more, match point for the defending champions. The kingdom on the up and up. Now we're gonna see finally who's on the play, who's gonna have that 2-pick swing. Liquid ID on blue.
Okay, and they do the same exact thing they did in game number 1. They take out the Bruno, they take out the Wan, and now the Eve is thrown into the mix. But the big difference for RQ this time is taking out the Hilda. They learned their lesson after game 1 and 2, and now it's no, the Aaron Hilda's just too much to deal with. We're gonna get it off the map.
Aaron Hilda.
Aaron Hilda.
Because there's Aaron Shiki.
If there's no Shiki at the end,
then it's Aran.
it's Aaron.
Understood.
Well, now the question is, do you pick the Cho up? No, they're going to go ahead and go in for the Zushin, which did walk. This is very
Game
similar
number 1,
to
yeah.
game number 1, right? The Zushin walks because you go for that Wan pick off instead. And the Zushin was one of the deciding factors in how Team Liquid ID was able to secure victory.
So does Yehezkiel dictate the pace? Because this is one of the 2 problems that TLID need to solve. Does RRQ steal the Cho? Does Edok take the Cho right here, right now? Is it Chuyo?
I think you do. I think Chuyo. Chuyo's a solid up front lineup, and it gives you flexibility. It gives you answers. The Wan and the Bruno are already gone, but then you do offer up that Granger, right? So maybe they lock in the Granger here. No, Aurora.
Sorora.
Yo. We're reaching now.
Almost. Why the Aurora? Is the stopper that important? They're clearly, they're telegraphing the wall set up for King Skylar.
I feel like they're up to a sneaky play. I mean, even considering they picked up their mage, knowing that a mage was already on the table.
Yeah.
So they have something up their sleeves. They're not going to count it out just yet. But TLID, they're not going to waste any time on the draft. Going to go ahead and pick up this glue alongside the Alpha.
It's clear that their focus is still on Aran. They know that Aran is such a game changer, no matter what hero he picks. So, you know what? We'll still pick the glue.
I see it.
Flavor Flav throws all of the gloves off and says, you know what? Just give me the Alpha. Give me an old favorite. And the answer, Dyren's Phoveus.
I'm wondering it, you know. I'm still in a place where the Phoveus doesn't look amazing to me right now. The Aurora doesn't look amazing to me right now. But depending on how they wrap things up, there are still plenty of possibilities. They do have first pick when it snaps back. I'm wondering, does TLID ban out the Granger right here and stop RQ from getting that?
They have to.
Yeah.
Trex, that is key to understanding the big picture. We don't get it right now why they drafted this way, but you know what? I'm going to stand my ground and say this is still all set up for King Skylar. Like, that's why I think Liquid ID should start batting out whatever marksman hurts the most, because they're going to have to tell Aaron, just hunker down, brother. Aaron, you're going to have to pick whatever's left after we take out all the good marksmen in the second phase.
Yeah, and we still got to see the roamer for the side of RQ Hoshi as well. The Cho being taken off the board. They already have great crowd control with the Aurora. What do they slot in here? I mean, even the Mathilda, I would have said, would have paired off good with the Phoveus, but with that being taken off the table by RQ Hoshi, it really makes you scratch your head. And what do they have in store? They have some game plan for this 2-pick swing on the second phase of the draft. We got to see which way it goes. Even taking out the chip on top of that. Not too many marksmen available, though. Do we see the Beatrix come out? Do we see the Claude come out?
Trex, you're onto something. Even RQ understands that it's really not Aaron that's the problem. It's that mid-duo, so they're continuing to attack Weedy.
Either now, since, listen, we know that at least Jushin got, okay, you got the Jushin, but now let's see if we can force, because my mind was going to the same place. Well, last time we guessed Tig, but they didn't go Tig. Maybe they force Witty onto something like the Carmilla again, because what'd the little bird tell you?
Carmilla's like a nothing pick for Weedy. Like
when we don't know where to go.
It's what he gets when there's nothing left.
So do they save? So do they lock in Marksman right now, or do they lock in the TIG for themselves on RQ? Do they lock in something of that nature and save Skylar for very last possible counterplay pick? Last time they did that, it did not go well. They went for the Claude, so maybe you lock him in early.
That is the jaw hit now, going to the hands of Edok. So yeah, they are going to protect Skylar by picking him last. What's left on the board? The Beatrix,
Harith,
the Harith. Oh, I actually want to see the Harith on Aaron right now.
He played it earlier.
That's what they won the Jushin lineup with, the Jushin draft.
Game one, Harith, it's all fitting into pieces for them.
He went 7-2-1.
Yeah.
Harith would be good, especially when you have heroes that can get up close and personal. Could definitely be a pick. Saving the best for last for Skylar, though, right? The veteran on the side of RQ Hoshi. What is he going to lock in? There's already sustainability with the glue. There's great crowd control with the Zushin and the Alpha as well.
There it is.
There goes that Harith to be facing off against Skylar in the gold lane, matched up with the Belleric.
Yeah, I think the Belleric's a solid pick. It's a big change up from the Carmilla. Still something similar in a sense. Wants to get in, wants to throw down a big circle on everybody. But it kind of has a slightly different touch to it. You get some response. RQ, Skylar. I don't know if he should. Don't do the Claude. All right. So we go into Beatrix, solid pick.
Well, this is different though from RQ Hoshi, right? They're forcing TLID to really think through this draft, right? Even us scratching our heads when we see the Suyo and the Aurora picked up first. We're like, where are they gonna go? They could have got something more prio.
Let's see if this will unfold RQ's way, or will TLID end the series right here? Let's go over to Ingan and Naisu.
Still a match point here for TLID. RQ Hoshi, after a great previous game, can they do it again? Replicate what they brought? Looking at the lineups here, it's looking pretty good, looking solid, but I like what TLID brought this time around. How about you, Ingan?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the draft. No one actually went for the Cho, so TLID didn't go for the bait out because I know RQ wanted to really bait out Widdy. Widdy to go for the Cho, and now they go with the Belleric. And just like what the panel said, the Jushin paired up with the Harith is what won them game number 1. So let's see if it's going to be the same result for this game.
Again, RQ Hoshi has to win the game to get to game 5.
Welcome.
Both teams still fighting for that top 4 spot to join the other teams waiting in the wins. And which team will go down to the lower bracket to maybe claw their way back up? Team Liquid ID. With this lineup that we're seeing here, I find it interesting that, yeah, the Belleric coming out to play once again, but there's so much that they can utilize here if they want to go and scrap it out or fight it out. Because of the Belleric plus the Harith and then the Jushin, there's so much there that you can just lock down one area and win a fight. Not to mention the Spear of Alpha. So this time for RQ Hoshi, utilizing the pickoff lineup that they brought, could work in their favor. You know, Edok, concussive blast, but most of the thing, every time I see the Jawhead, man, I do think, you know, it's a great hero to have, but it can also just, you're sometimes playing against yourself. When you lock in with that unstoppable force, you might put yourself in a position where, oh, you're cut off from your team, and then you just kind of get punished for that.
We saw that a lot of times, especially
A lot of
when
times.
it's up against the Fanny.
Yeah.
It's the unstoppable force in its name. It's not going to stop. And at the same time, you expect RRQ Hoshi to be as aggressive as possible in the early game. Because again, you don't want to be on the receiving end if you have a Jawhead on your lineup.
It's interesting too, just because of, again, there's no Revitalize, you know, this time around for RRQ Hoshi. So another factor that they have to worry about because of the extended team fights that could break out, or the way that Team Liquid ID approaches those fights, knowing that they might have a little bit of more sustainability here. Witty though, look at the damage on him. It's gonna be fine, should heal back up with this. Turtle's coming up though. So a couple of the level 4s is not available just yet, especially for the roams, Edok and Witty, but it will get started up by TLID. Fabian holding the turtle there. Meanwhile, Susagen working on the purple buff. Will get here in time though.
Okay.
How's the fight?
We're going to see if Edok goes in with the flicker. Goes after Fabian with the zone. Now RRQ Hoshi, they will get the first turtle in exchange for Dyren.
Okay, are they? Oh, they're still going. Yehezkiel.
Okay, Crimson Beacon in, trying to go for Susagen. Susagen dashes out. Now RRQ Hoshi, they got the turtle, but TLID answers right back with a kill.
They answer back. So trading from across the board here, but still, again, nothing too crazy, nothing too much of a lead. Of course, this matchup in the gold lane is going to be interesting. You know, Skylar getting that Beatrix locked in. There's the jump in, toss up. Oh, the lockdown as Yehezkiel's taken out.
Alley-oops away to Rins. Now Yehezkiel not starting out strong here as they're forcing Aaron, Shiki, and Witty to rotate because they know they have to protect the purple buff for Fabian. Now RRQ Hoshi, again with the Jawhead pick, it's working wonders for them because so far they already have two great ejector plays. One that zoned out Fabian, and now one that pick up a kill onto Yehezkiel.
Fabian will get his purple buff, but the team had to help secure that up. Skylar, first item, a Malefic Gun, getting a little extra gold too. So we'll see. Like I said, he needs that range. You know, playing against the Harith in that gold lane, he's gonna have to deal with it. Fabian jumping in.
Okay, Spear of Alpha, trying to work on Edok, unstoppable force and ejector. They're trying to work on Fabian. Here comes Arando, and Edok will fall down. A little bit too over-aggressive play from RRQ Hoshi. He's gonna get punished by TLID.
Yeah, that's tough to toss up an alpha, you know, with Fabian here. And that's the thing I was talking about. You know, when you have this Jawhead, you have to choose your targets safely, you know, and correctly. But earlier on, he made the right play. This time around, gets punished, and now they find themselves with a minor lead for RRQ Hoshi, leading into the next objective coming up here soon. This is the one that obviously will break out, especially now that you have Witty looking to set up with the Wrath of the Dryad, and they can play into setup potential. I'm not sure if Aaron Shiki will actually join this fight, but it does look like that Skylar might join this one. Kind of waiting there to see if he gets the call. Turtle's up. Susagen will go ahead, lock in that shot. Yehezkiel takes a little bit of damage, but they go and get in position. Skylar will stay top side for now. And Rins picks up the glowing wand, first item priority here. They're gonna test each other out, kind of posting up around this turtle, and right now Fabian's gonna hold it. The rest of the team's gonna set up the perimeter.
Okay, the XP lane is just trying to Zoga. Here comes the unstoppable force. Bridging Glacier is gonna connect, but still Fabian will get the turtle. Now the attack of TLID. They're forcing out a lot of flickers coming in from RRQ. Araj is working on Rins. Yehezkiel with a lantern flare, gonna get picked up by Edok. Edok manages to stay alive. Aran split, but gonna get caught up by 3. RRQ Hoshi again with 2 kills despite losing the turtle.
A great fight, you know, for RRQ Hoshi. Great exchange. Getting a couple kills. Even Skylar making his way. He used that flicker down too, but Rins, you know, not able to get taken down, and Susagen on top of it will now get the tier 1 in the bottom lane. Great starting off for RRQ Hoshi. Even if at the cost of a turtle, it doesn't really matter right now. They'll continue to put on the pressure, and it's up to Team Liquid ID now. Looking, there's the toss again.
Another throw, might be the wrong target. Able to cast the Wrath of Dryad, pick up the Frigid Glacier. Witty was able still to escape, and that's someone you don't want to throw, especially if you can't burst him down right away, as Fabian works on Susagen, forcing out the retribution. Susagen will be able to walk away.
Oh, now look at this top side play. Aaron Shiki is going to have to rely on Yehezkiel up here. at tier 1. Nearly going down. Skylar still might be able to get it. There it is with the cannon minion. Turret down, so now RQ Hoshi with a space advantage on the map. 2 tier 1s down, and this has been a very aggressive Edok. You know, whether or not puts himself in a bad situation, it's enough pressure to keep TLID kind of second-guessing themselves, you know, on their entry points. More big items being picked up. Skylar taking a shot right there. Again, he's only got the Malefic gun, still working on the BOD, and then even some of the defensive items also coming into play. Dyron got the Thunder Belt. You have, of course, the glowing wand for Rins, and then for Edok, he does have a Radiant Armor, as he's just going to be putting himself in that position.
Yeah, the beauty of the lineup of TLID is once Widdy is able to cast the Wrath of Dryad in the perfect time and sets up a lot of members of Araki Hoshi, they can just easily burst it down because of the fact that they have Fabian as well as Aaron Shiki, but Edok again, unstoppable force ejector flicker combination, forcing Widdy to use the Revitalize, but a little bit too deep there as he will fall down in the hands of TLID. Now the counter attack coming in from RRQ. Rins forced to use the Frigid Glacier. Here comes Aaron Shiki with a Zaman force. Tyron has to walk away here. TLID still standing strong with 5 members. Lantern Flare gonna connect onto Tyron, and they might be able to take down Widdy with him, as Tyron will also fall down. Another kill for Fabian.
Oh, they're slowed so much. They're not able to get away from the fight the way they want to, but RQ Hoshi again coming out with nearly everything in that fight. Only the cost of Dyron and Edok. Edok jumped in, but that's all he needs to do. If he's enough of a distraction to toss someone to the whims, then that works out. Susujin now taking the purple buff. Now it's Susujin with a lead in this game against Fabian. They get the tier 1, so now all tier 1 turrets down. And even that tier 2 on the bottom side almost pushed in RQ Hoshi with a massive space advantage right now.
Yeah, and not to mention a 3.9k gold lead. That was a well-executed play coming in from RQ Hoshi, just Dyron literally being the sandbag, forcing TLID out of position once again. And again, started things off by Edok, the unstoppable force flicker play, paired up with the ejector. That was more than enough to set up RRQ Hoshi for that favorable trade.
It's really interesting, the fact that, you know, you think when you see these ultimates and the options available from TLID's lineup, that in those kind of team fights, they should be able to go ahead and win those fights based on their area of effect and the lockdown. But just looking at the itemization, you can see the difference here. Starlium Scythe and Feather of Heaven, not enough, but here's the breakout again.
Early split. Dyron casted already the Widdy casted the Wrath of Dryad. Here comes the Frigid Glacier counterattack coming in from RRQ.
Wow.
They're gonna pick up 2. Next man is Aran, and RRQ Hoshi just really wrecking havoc up against the cavalry.
Man, right now the kingdom is rallying together. Every single team fight they choose to take, there's no response so far from Team Liquid ID.
Yeah.
And even Skylar, the fact that he got this Bantrix, look at the shots on Aaron Shiki, keeping him in check right now. Man, TLID needs a lot of time to be able to go toe-to-toe against RQ Hoshis.
Yeah. And it's also the same story once again, just Dyron being the sacrificial lamb for RRQ Hoshi to make sure TLID doesn't get the necessarily space that they want up against a team like RRQ Hoshi as they make quick work of this Lord once again, extending their lead to 6.5k, giving a hard time for TLID, and you would assume that they would actually have an easier time in terms of the early game, because again, they picked up Aaron Shiki with the Hadith, they also have Fabian with the Alpha that has true damage. So right now, what can you do? Because so far, even if Widdy manages to catch cast the Wrath of Dryad, there's always a response from Rins with the Frigid Glacier, forcing TLID to retreat.
It's getting to that point where Skylar is locked and loaded. He is just zoned in. He's got a Sky Piercer now too. So Malefic Gun, BOD Sky Piercer. And you already got a preview of how much that Render shot is gonna hurt. And so it's great. I mean, if you think about it, like we were saying, you know, you set up those things around the Wrath of the Dryad. Well, Skylar's there based on whatever gun he decides to approach the fight with, but now walking in with the Lord here, again, a massive lead. They're gonna put the pressure now on the base turrets.
Okay, Wrath of Dryad gonna connect. Here comes the counter attack. Frigid Glacier once again! Aran is gonna fall down in the hands of Skylar. TLID trying to make quick work of the Lord. They will, however, save their mid lane inhibitor turret. But RRQ Hoshi, their attack might not be over just yet.
Skylar's just gonna go ahead and whittle down that mid turret. It does finally fall. Edok threatening them with the unstoppable force. He doesn't have the flicker, but he might still choose to go in. Top turret, next target here from RQ Hoshi. They might just go ahead and go with a toss-up turret being worked on. Edok now on the front side, clearing out the minion waves while Skylar works on that, and now Eric Cheeky, whoa, the shot from Skylar!
Even with his Salmon Force, misclick, mistarget, and just got bursted down by the members of the Kingdom. 5-man strong. Minions onto the middle lane. Rin flickers in, and they will be able to extend this series. Yeskiel is the only one left, and RRQ never backs down, even against the Cavalry.
And we're off to another Game 5 for the evening. Man, oh man, I hope you guys have your snacks and your drinks, because it's been one hell of a night of MLBB for the teams fighting for that opportunity to move on to the top 4 in Oxiana Arena, waiting to just battle it out. And it looks like RQ Hoshi is on par for revenge here from the Indonesia Grand Finals, because right now what we know is it all comes down to one single game ahead of them. But before we get there, our panel, we have to hear their thoughts on Game 4.
The Bandung Brawl never ceases to amaze. You expected a certain kind of matchup when it comes to these two teams, and you get that certain expectation because they're going all the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to Game 5 for this upper bracket semi.
And technically, if RQ Hoshi can pull this off, that's a reverse sweep in their hands. Now both sides, one more match to go. Trex, we did it again, the 50-50.
I'm blaming it on RQTLID. Reverse sweep, just like what happened in the upper bracket in MPL ID. So, I mean, maybe it's not us. Maybe it just is what it is.
We had nothing to do with this.
We had nothing to do with this at all. 10 games in one day. What more could you ask for from M6?
That one is on us. Speaking of on us, let's break down that 11-minute game. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, RRQ just seems to be going faster and faster and faster. That's a carry line, but here it was Skylar's Beatrix that actually turned it up a notch. How often do you see a Beatrix actually build a Sky Piercer? That's how locked in, that's how fast King Skylar saw this game coming.
Yeah, and then also able to deal the damage, the lethality coming out, able to pretty much execute them when they're super low. And it also is credits back to the draft, just getting witty, uncomfortable, Iran. Uncomfortable, right? Forcing them on these picks and playing into the palms of RQ Hoshi.
If there were maybe one more hero that actually needs to get in there, play in the paint, maybe Witty's Belleric would have done good. But here, what was the best you could do? Like stop the Jawhead from getting a good unstoppable force, you know? Maybe stop Suchujin from marching in too happy, but that aside, even Dyron doesn't mind getting hit with a Dryad, Wrath of the Dryad, because he's gonna stomp in anyways.
Yeah, and on top of that, Frigid Glacier comes down. Rin's played so cleanly over that game, but I love how you mentioned the Jawhead because IDOC, man. I'm starting to feel like it's not just Witty. It is a battle of the roamers, because right now IDOC is also on fire. He's doing what Witty was doing those first 2 games. He is all over the place making plays happen.
IDOC is keeping TLID honest, and now it makes more sense. Now we understand why in the first phase, why alongside the Suyo, RRQ Hoshi picked up the Aurora. Rins has 100% kill participation in Game 4.
Locked in, and speaking of locked in, Skylar as well. I mean, you saw the snipes come out. He wasn't missing any opportunity, and they seized the day. The castle still standing against the siege from TLID.
And I can't help but say, the Cavalry seems like they're stumbling and they're stopping and slowing down. This draft, there was nothing wrong with it, but that's the problem. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not pushing RRQ's buttons the right way. It's pulling back to, I hate to say it now, the worst hits of this series for Liquid, right? It's that early glue, and then it's that weird Belleric from out of nowhere, and even I'll say it now, the Alpha on Favian just doesn't hit the same way it did back in MPLID, back in pre-M6.
I think the Alpha for a lot of junglers, I think it's one of the reasons we haven't been seeing as much. It feels more niche than meta almost. It does really well against those bulky things like the Hylos, the Hilda, some of those natures. But taking a look at this gold graph, I mean, it is just a downhill slope for TLID.
All it scored was the second turtle.
That's it. No tower, nothing.
And even with that second turtle score, it still went downhill from there. A steep crash down to a 10,000 deficit, which led to RRQ just taking the game. I didn't even notice it was 11 minutes. I just knew that Liquid was in trouble.
It was a very fast match, and you could just tell the momentum has shifted to the other side of the playing field. RRQ Hoshi, very comfortable so far. Even the fans behind them, the castle is gathered, and they are cheering for their team. One more match to go between these two amazing teams, and the question is, who is going to win the 50-50 for game number 5?
That's right. The kingdom has come alive, and they are here to cheer on their king. The MVP for game number 4, it's none other than Skylar on that Beatrix, digging deep into his hero pool, and luckily, Beatrix actually pretty good at this metagame. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. Like, she's an A+ pick.
Yeah, definitely an A+ pick, not a niche pick at all. And that feels like the gold lane in general. Bruno and Granger seem to be the only real standouts, and everything else is completely fair game, especially in the hands of Skylar, especially in the hands of one of the best gold laners right now at M6. And he just showed why he's dominant. I love how you pointed out that Sky Piercer, because I mean, he just knew, right? You just know sometimes when you are ahead, when you are winning, when you're stacking up the kills, it's time to go Sky Piercer.
Haskell, forget about it. Like, we're here to end things. We're here to take names and make heads roll, and that's what that Sky Piercer was. Let's roll through the highlights and real quick revisit the very fast 11-minute game.
Yeah, just a lot on the table for RRQ Hoshi to clean up. Just some great placements from IDOC on this Jawhead as well. You got to see some excellent gameplay, pretty much a one-sided domination from RRQ Hoshi, and I think we all agree it began in the draft. After they got Team Liquid ID uncomfortable, it led into the gameplay. It bled over into the Land of Dawn, and they were able to just get them mentally.
You know how soon Skylar built the Sky Piercer? It was his third item.
Third item.
Yep. So he went Malefic Gun, and then Blade of Despair, and then he said, forget about it, Sky Piercer.
Okay, so but what's interesting is that's been one of the toss-ups between a lot of Beatrixes. Do you first pick Malefic Gun or do you second pick it? Hiko's one of the gold laners who has been first picking it, and now it seems Skylar is one of the gold laners who has also first picked the Malefic Gun. And I think against the Harith, it kind of works well. Harith has great poke in lane. He's able to clear those waves, so it gives you a little bit of an answer to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. It all comes down to this. Can Liquid ID pull out a new trick from out of the bag? And here's the thing. This is the Brawl in Bandung, right? We're going to go all the way anyways. Do you think it's going the way of Fnatic Onyx versus Falcon? Is suddenly the one who started the series off strong going to pull out a clean and as close to normal draft as it could go for the Cavalry? Is that the direction we're hoping for?
They're running out of options, right? They have to be very textbook about this and not play into the hands of RRQ Hoshi in the beginning of the draft. They cannot fall for these setups to get Witty and Aaron uncomfortable.
These are the questions and the words I'm using because game 3 and 4, they did seem like games. I'll be honest with you, like there was very little fight from Liquid ID.
But it was the same way in the first two games, right? It felt like RRQ was kind of getting smothered a bit in some of those games. We really, I feel like we haven't gotten to a game that, you know, that 20-minute pressure. We haven't gotten to that moment where it could go any way at all.
Like a true back and forth.
A true back and forth. We haven't seen it just yet.
Could it be this one?
I hope so. I mean, we're here now, you know? We're at game 5.
If it's not,
if
then
it's not,
womp
then
womp, right?
Womp womp. Exactly.
If it's not womp womp, like what else does Coach Saint De Lucas and the Facehugger have in their blue little notebook? Like, how many ways can you gallop? How many ways can you ride out into the sunset and force a game 5 and come back at the end? Quick palate cleanser. Ladies and gentlemen, let's try and test how deep our stock knowledge of MLBB Esports goes. Here's a trivia bit for you. That's right. Riddle me this.
Tricks.
Here's the question of the night as we prep up for game number 5. Our past few questions have been real brain benders. Here's one. Who was the highest damage per minute in a game in the M Series history? Like, who has the highest damage per minute?
Is this player
Who?
or hero?
Meaning player or
Player.
who meaning hero?
In any M series.
Player?
Player.
I'm guessing it's player, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna break this down. Yesterday, Skylar had the most kills of any M series. So with that being said, it could be Skylar once again. I think it's a gold laner for sure.
Yeah, Skylar's been around.
Yeah.
He's been to what, 3 M series now? And consistently performed.
Or could it be like Kelron and Assassin?
No, Kelra, this is Kelra's first M series.
I mean, not Kelra, Kyrie.
Kyrie.
On like an Assassin pick.
If it's burst.
It's a mid laner.
Okay, clues, folks. It's a mid laner. Type in chat, get in there, get in there. Who do you think it is?
That is a really good question. And
Echo, M4.
Sanji or Few?
Sanji, that's a good one.
I'm going Sanji.
I'm going Few. That's my guess.
Anything?
Folks in Iowa, y'all can guess
Sanji.
along too.
I'm going Sanji.
There may or may not be a prize. All right, here we go. We're going to reveal the answer. It is Sans.
How could I forget
Sans.
about with the Novaria?
He did 9.4K with a Novaria M5. Wow. So that means homie is just Star Shatter Pow. Whoop. Star Shatter Pow.
Whoop.
It's just-
You know that game went the distance. Do you think that was last game? Do you think that was the grand finals?
Could have been. I mean,
Possibly.
which games did he play Novaria in, right?
We don't got time for that. I'm just kidding.
We could check in. Manny was giving us all the hints. He's like, it's an M5. It's a mid laner.
He knows what game it
Yeah.
was. He just doesn't want to tell us.
Daddy Sean was also whispering in. I am curious, all right? I'm gonna look into this because I'm gonna lose sleep over figuring out which one it was. But I got good news for y'all, folks. Game's about to begin once more. Let's go on stage and resume this bout. One more game. Satu. One more in the Bandung Brawl rematch here at the M6 World Championships. The knockouts. It's the upper bracket semis. Only one of these teams lock in for Axiata for the first time for this young cavalry, or will RRQ make their pilgrimage successful back into Axiata where it all began?
It's been a long drawn battle. A war back and forth, which once looked like it was going to be in favor for TLID, but then you got to see RQ Hoshi would stand their ground and turn this back around.
You want to talk long haul? You want to talk about a journey? RRQ waited half a decade to go back to Axiata to try and reclaim glory.
Fair.
5 years, sir.
Another good point is, who did FNOP say they wanted to face in the upper bracket finals?
They're besties.
RRQ.
So what's Liquid here? It's just like, hi. So
We'll see you later, maybe.
it's Fabian. I want a solo kill King
Yeah,
Kong.
I want to solo kill King Kong.
That's what it is. Folks, here we go.
They're like, whoa, he's kind of scary. Let's just argue.
Game 5 proper is upon us. Here comes the draft. Liquid on the play. Banning out the Bruno and the 1-1 and the Phoveus, while RRQ take out the Fanny, the Hilda, and the Matilda. All according to plan. Fabian picks up the Suyo.
And they ban out the Phoveus this time, the change up, the switch up. Last time we saw the Eve open, RQ, it is detrimental to take this Eve right now, because if you don't, it goes into Heskill's hands. And I think that is the last thing you want. They also lock in the glue. So we have a bit of a reverse swap TLID. Bruno?
And Cho, both of them could definitely be picked up right here. Could be a possible threat, and this could be the window of opportunity that TLID was looking for.
So I guess
Kojushin?
So I guess Aran just eats dirt? Because that's what happens, right? Like, so far, whenever Aran doesn't get the glue or the Hilda, they just leave him to the second phase, and then what does he do then?
Well, it's either we secure Iran, or we secure Yehezkill and Witty right here. Those are your choices, right?
All right, here we see the Granger first, and then the Cho. So Weedy now finally gets his pick here. Is this wise, all puns intended, to have Yehezkill in the second phase again? Because you're gonna end up with a frontline mage, and then what do you do then?
It's definitely going to be very challenging. Well, technically, Barza is still on the table. Barza is still available.
Not for long.
Not for long, though.
You can go edge to edge. Do they ban the Farsa and the Vixana come second phase?
There's Valentina, too, but
We saw what that did.
yeah, we did.
There is a clutch pick that could come towards the end if it doesn't get banned out.
What-
TLID
what is that?
here. The Lu Yi's open. Could see the Lu Yi as a very end of phase pick. Oh, hold on.
Whoa,
Hold on.
This is not a drill. Ladies and gentlemen, the first phase alone.
Game 5.
This is game 5, shenanigans afoot. I asked Sutsujin, the mercenary here, to his face. This was a first pick remix. I said, Sutsujin, what hero would you use to describe yourself? He said Ling.
He is Ling.
He is him.
Ling is him.
He is putting all the cards on the table right now. Now, you know who else could be picked up technically because there's a glue on the other side? The Faramis could sneak up in here.
To me, it's Faramis or Vixana. Like, both do the same thing just to pop those glulings.
That's true, and both can be very effective. But with this Ling on the table, right? I mean, you have that invulnerability with the tips of blades. You have the mobility to cut to the side lanes. It's going to create an element for RRQ that TLID has yet to face this entire series.
It's a tempo breaker. It's a gut check. It's like, hey, are you ready to face this? Game 5, do you have anything left in the tank to face Sutsujin's signature pick? It's up to Fabian now. It's up to Flava Flav, the usurper, to try and shut things down. The Ruby, that's Edok special banned out.
You know, they won their game yesterday with the first phase Ling pick against Vamos. Were able to clean through. So this isn't, I think, this isn't like uncomfortable for them. How is it going to work? I think it really depends on how well Edok, Skylar, mid are able to control, and the XP lane are able to control, because Sutsujin's going to need a little bit of time to get to those pop-off moments.
There's the aforementioned Lu Yi. So it's just down to the Vixana, the Farsa, or the Faramis. Odd one out. Which one is likely to end up in the hands of the Ghost of Jakarta? One last ban for Team Liquid ID, taking out Edok's favorites. There's the Franco.
Now, oh, this is getting spicy. You know what? No, because I have CEO already, so this is going to be challenging. The Faramis could be good because they have sustainability, but they'll be lacking in the crowd control department, which just only Cho to kind of rely on. But technically, they could flex that Cho into the XP lane. They could still maybe go for something with more crowd control in the XP lane as well. There's still some options.
This is an odd Belleric. I got a feeling because, yes, it stops the Cho, but that aside, there's nothing else it really interacts with in Liquid ID's draft so far. So it might feel like Widdy's Belleric from Game 4.
And at this point, TLID, I'm guessing most likely we see a range mage. They could go back to the Novaria if they wanted to, something of that nature. Of course, the Ling caused a little trouble with that. Ling answers to a lot of, it's almost a future sight to any of those backlines. And with the Lu Yi gone now, yeah, you gotta pick something a little closer to home.
So very double poke lineup. There's the Hylos going into the hands of Aran. What does the Ghost pick up? What does the Hezgil end up with?
That a little girl.
It is!
I've been waiting for this pick.
Tis a debut. We're at 74 unique picks now in M6.
Let's make it 75.
Nope.
Ooh, I
We
got
get-
that.
We tried.
Nope.
So close.
Iritel, a specialty pick for Skylar, making its breakout in the MPLID Season 14 playoffs. This is the final lineup for the final game in this best of 5. One of these teams are headed to Axiata as we head to the desk with Ingan and Naisu.
Thank you so much, panel, for breaking down the draft one last time. It's getting a little hot here, man. This is now the second match going the distance. And again, we wouldn't have it any other way. This is the spot top 4 and Axiata that we're talking about. Ingan, there's another new pick here that we get to witness now brought to the table. Let's take a look at the draft one more time. Who you feeling more for Game 5?
I mean, in terms of the late game, you can't go wrong if you have a Lilia or a Cecilia. In this case, for TLID, first time picked Lilia for Yezkiel. But on the side of RRQ Hoshi, man, Sutsujin brings out the Ling along with one of Skylar's signature. The Irithel is back.
The Irithil is back, and will it be enough to cap out a win here? Is it going to be the Kingdom RQ Hoshi, or will it be the Cavalry, Team Liquid ID? The revenge for both teams on the table here going into Game 5. the endurance test of TLID after being 2-0, and now RRQ Hoshi has brought it down to a single game, just like we saw earlier. Now talking about the draft here, the fact that Yehezkiel's brought out so many new heroes. From what we've seen in the mid lane so far, now how are we thinking this Lilia is going to work against a pick we see so often in the Eve?
Yeah, I mean, he did put out a Savior, even the Navaria. A lot of first-time hero pick was cost of Yehezkiel, but Witty, very aggressive. They want to put control on the mid lane, as what we've seen in their first 2 game wins, and that's what they're planning to do up against RRQ again.
So they're going to have to do. Witty, so aggressive and so proactive on the Cho. He might get, you know, sometimes a little overzealous and get punished, but nonetheless, he's had a phenomenal performance up to this point. And looking at the emblems here, you know, this is the other thing. Susujin, like our panel said, you know, they asked him. He is the Ling, and he runs the war cry here. Fabian, though.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Quite low. A good response coming in from RRQ Hoshi. There's a thought from Idok to Widdy, and he's now going to focus his attention onto Rins. All the while, Yehezkiel just trying to poke down Sutsujin.
Wow, there's enough of blooms there.
Forcing out the Tempest of Blades early on. That was a good play coming in from Yehezkiel. Now Fabian, he has the Queller, not going to connect. Sutsujin remains unbothered.
Really limit testing, you know, in the early game at this point, already getting those Tempest Blades out. Oh, in a hook! Fabian goes in and picks up the kill. That's a solo kill right there, and now Turtle for the taking.
Okay. All the while, Sutsujin just focusing on his purple buff, while Yehezkiel zoning out the jungler of RRQ Hoshi. TLID starting out strong, a kill for Fabian, plus secures the turtle.
So already off to a good start, Team Liquid ID, based off that whole interaction they had. You know, even right now, just it's proven a point that actually this Lilia pick's really good, able to slow things down. The bloom's always a surprise amount of damage early on, even before she gets items. So still, you know, RRQ Hoshi gonna have to adjust from it. Nothing too crazy to work from. They are playing with the Ling, and we know how important these buffs are gonna be in the rotation for the Ling, for Susujin. Relying on the team to help him out if the pressure starts. That's the one thing you want to avoid, is a too big of a lead to build for Team Liquid ID to the point where they're just always in Susujin's jungle here.
Yeah, but at the same time, RRQ Hoshi, they have to wait for the fact that Susujin needs to scale up. And looking at the proper targets that he could go for, I mean, Yehezkiel has the Black Shoes, so at any given moment, if Susujin decides to dive, he can just pop off that Black Shoes and remain safe. And Susujin is not gonna get the kill that he's looking for.
That's part of it. There's the initiation already. Idok out of the picture again. Susujin will jump in.
He dives in with the Tempest of Blades, gonna connect onto 4, but Witty manages to flicker out. Here comes Skylar though. No casualties yet for TLID once again, but they were able to take down Idok. Not a strong start. A 0-2-0 for this Belleric.
Yeah, very tough. Even utilizing the Revitalize that time, but still just overloaded with damage. You know, kind of dealing with this. Again, 0 and 2. He's going to be fine, though. Diamond will take some damage. They still might look to fight even further around the purple buff.
Just the Ring of Punishment just being a thorn in the neck for the whole squad of RRQ Hoshi. And now they're trying slowly, bit by bit, applying a bit of a pressure onto the jungle of Sutsujin. Again, this is a Ling that scales up pretty well towards the late game. That's why TLID, there's an internal pressure for them to try and get a huge lead early on, but if ever that fails, or if ever RRQ Hoshi manages to extend this game towards the late game, Yehezkiel comes in with the Lilia.
Again, Turtle up for the taking, a couple shots happening, and Susujin will make his way for this one.
Okay, Dyren just doing his work, zoning out, comes Split plus real world manipulation, all the while Widdy is there with the backline, gonna connect with the Wave of the Dragon, and still Rins gets the Turtle! Here comes the counterattack coming in from RRQ as they take down Aran, but TLID, the rest of the cavalry on the attack, gonna bring down Idok and Dyren.
So again, still exchanging. Fabian on the hunt, Rins trying to get back. Fabian not going to be able to follow through on that one. So they break out Rins. Luckily, yeah, gets the turtle there. Does pick up the glowing wand now. Big part of the kit here, of course, for the Eve to set things up. But that was the thing too, you know, both the gold laners relatively just kind of having a chill time in that gold lane against each other. Skylar does have the Haas Claws now. Hunter Strike here over on the other side for Aaron Shiki. But look at the pressure here on the tier 1.
Oh, are they gonna come in the way of the dragon though? Okay, Widdy for a turtle. For a turret might not be a bad trade for TLID, because again, this is where their lineup kicks in. They want to go for objectives as much as possible, because towards the late game, You cannot, it's hard to go up against a Sutsujin that's scaled up perfectly. Not to mention Skylar is also rocking an Irithel.
Yeah, this is the part too, you know, because of the fact that Fabian was part of the early kills that he got, he is scaling up. As long as Sutsujin doesn't go down, he's able to go ahead and just keep focusing on the farm, then at least you're in a position where you're not too outscaled. You should be able to go ahead and fight. And again, it's one of those things with a Ling where you can always just try to go ahead and sweep on in and maybe steal the Lord, or at least cause enough of a chaos situation where then it comes down to a 50-50 for the Retri. But right now, it's RQ Hoshi just trying to keep things from getting too out of hand. Witty has been a nuisance, a part of this.
Oh.
Both junglers here.
Jungler 1v1, okay. Sutsujin just really feeling the damage of the Sever. But again, if you're going to look at the 50-50s in terms of the neutral objectives,
yeah.
Fabian has a slight advantage, I would say, because of the Sever Retribution combination. It's like saying, it's like the Appraiser's Wrath or Retri combination that we've seen with the Fredrin, even the ult of the Balmut plus the Retribution combination. So TLID can actually, there's not much problem or pressure that they have to think about when it comes to Sutsujin out-retrying Fabian.
Third turtle's up. Again, getting in position. Frontliners there at it. We'll see them set it up now.
Okay, set up. Real world manipulation. Here comes Sutsujin though. Is he going to go down as Darwin goes with the split? Gonna get caught up by 4 here as Aran. Okay, he has to revitalize, but is going to get bursted down by Sutsujin.
Whoa!
Here comes the split.
Still there.
Still there, gonna get ganked up by 3. He's gonna fall down in hands of Fabian, but all the while RRQ gets the turtle plus the kill. So right now you can safely say RRQ won that trade.
RRQ, I mean, a lot of the times that's Dyron's job. You know, he just tries to do things for the team, whether that's a turtle, whether that's a turret, cuts them off and keeps them focused on the goal for now. Sutsujin will pick up the Haas Claws. They'll also get a turret down. Berserker's Fury now too for Skylar. So 2 items locked in. Looking at how the farm's going, you know, relatively well. But right now, Fabian and Aaron Shiki at the top of the standings. They've been doing a great job at just kind of keeping the pace. Aaron Shiki will start to shine later on, already nearly there to the BOD. Does pick it up just now, so Hunter Strike and BOD for Aaron Shiki. He'll start joining the fights a lot more now, especially as we lead into this Lord about a minute away. And RQ Hoshi, they can utilize the split pressure they can put on the map with a Ling if they want to. But still, he's going to have to go ahead and be mostly with these team fights for the objectives later on. Just because, again, even if it's just to steal with the Retribution. But Sutsujin's done a great job at just staying alive. Still trying to cover some ground here, but man, like, these ranged shots here from Team Liquid ID is what they have to overcome.
The warning shots coming in from Aaron Shiki, making sure that Edok cannot just zone out the members of TLID, making quick work in the minions in the middle lane. And now looking at Widdy, he does have a good position with the brush. They might be able to take a pick off onto Skylar if Skylar decides to go back up top.
See how they go it again. Look at the positioning right now. Skylar approaching.
Okay, here comes the wave of the Dragon Flicker combination. Red Spike back with the real manipulation, but they're trying to cut off the exit route. Here comes Aran. Here comes Winnie once again. He's E-killed with the glooms. Gonna bring down 2. RRQ Hoshi, no answer as Sutsujin is just trying to go for the bottom lane push.
He pushed in the lane a little bit. Lord's gonna come up. But man, TLID got 2 in exchange. They make their way to the Lord, they'll start it up. And Sutsujin, we'll see if he can pull something off, but he's gonna get spotted out by Widdy. Not sure if he's gonna be able to actually find an angle or a window to go in here. Dyron already taken the damage, split off. Okay. There's the kick.
Here comes the glorious pathway. Widdy just trying to zone out Sutsujin. Forced to use out the Templates of Blaze. Here comes Skylar though, gonna pick up again all to Aran. And now a double man knockoff coming in from Widdy. RRQ Hoshi not backing down, trying to poke down Widdy. And now they're back on this Lord fight.
Enough to go ahead and stall things out and go for the reset. Both teams might just wait. Aran almost back up. Still, Widdy, blade armor now for him. We saw Skylar's damage already to preview it when he pops that heavy crossbow. But now they set things up. Edok still on the front side of it, has the Revitalize nearly available. The Wrath of the Dryad. So they'll find themselves in this situation now, fighting for the Lord here. And despite this lead, even the poke coming out from Aaron Shiki, of course, he is going to have to be able to respect some of the damage coming out in return, but neither team can actually commit to this Lord just because of how much threat there is in around this Lord pit.
Yeah, and at the same time, you can't just go in for the Jit Kundu combination because of the presence of Edok with the Beleric. once he sees or once he feels that Widow is going to go in for the engage, he can just cast the Wrath of Dryad and just foil the plan of TLID. And for the same time, RRQ Hoshi, it's not easy for them to just really try and go for the backline because again, the glooms that Yeskiel has been doing, 303 KDA, it's been a thorn in the neck of RRQ Hoshi, honestly. That's why Yeskiel trying to zone out the members. Here comes Dyren though. Is he gonna cast a split, real manipulation coming in from Rins. Aaron Shaky just dishing out the damage with the Rhapsody. Rins has to flicker away. Aran caught in a bit of everything. There's the Glorious Pathway. Windy with a kick and gonna bring down Dyren.
Dyren already out of the picture again. A Lord goes for a reset. I think it might just be a full reset again, even with Dyren out of the picture. So still, neither team wanting to fully commit. They continue to test each other's limits. Susujin will go ahead and grab the purple buff. Edok trying to provide that vision, but TLID still wants to poke them down.
Oh, they want to go for more! And gonna bring down Edok! Susujin got stunned and got bursted down by Aaron Shaky! TLID executed that to perfection! 2 kills plus the Lord!
The patience from the Cavalry will help them win that fight. Again, they took their time, they poked from a distance, and then they collapsed down at the right moment. Now RRQ Hoshi on the defense. Again, with this Lord pushing in, they should be able to hold it together. They might lose that tier 1, some of the tier 2s, but they're still in the game. Skylar has been able to go ahead and farm up now, 3 items locked in. But you see where the difficulty is for RRQ Hoshi. It's the range battle. And that's been the case almost every single time, especially when a Granger is across from you with a Suyo. And right now, they're going to watch the tier 2 in the mid lane fall to this push from Team Liquid ID.
Oh,
again, Aaron Shiki taking a couple shots on Susujin. He has to go back, quarter of the health left. Lord still make its way on the top side, and RQ, they'll get ready to defend, utilizing Rins' RWM when they try to push in. Not sure if Witty's going to go under and through. They're going to go in.
Okay, Cheat Kondo is there. Real world manipulation coming in from Rins. The Glorious Pathway is also there, and they're going to make quick work of the Lord. No inhibitor turrets will be taken down for the side of RRQ Hoshi.
Clearing it out. Susujin dealing with that bottom side. Ultimately dealing with the Lord, they're going to be fine, but they are going to lose still more in the jungle. You're seeing the gaps here between the gold lane, between nearly every single lane at this point. And you got to start to think, all right, RRQ Hoshi, how can they actually turn this game around? How can they win a team fight? Even if it comes down to the base, it might be up to them. But Edok, this Belric has not been working out the way they've wanted to. A lot of times he's just kind of slowed down and caught out. Yeskiel as well. You know, the Gloom's enough for burning him down. I mean, this guy's got the Enchanted Talisman, the Glowing Wand, and the Wishing Lantern. And it just seems to eat away at the tankier members here of RRQ Hoshi.
Yeah, honestly, the Belric, it's more of a reactive type of hero wherein you're going to wait for TLID to go in full commit with the dive and then cast a Wrath of Dryad. But TLID knows this. They actually used this previously.
Yeah.
And they know how to work around Edok. So right now we have to commend Aran because Aran's been providing a lot of vision for TLID, enabling actually Widdy to find the proper angle for those Jeet Kundos. He doesn't even need the Way of the Dragon. The Jeet Kundos alone has been connecting to at least 2 members of RRQ Hoshi, setting themselves up for the burst that can come from Aaron Shiki.
And now you got to see Halbert locked in here for Aaron Shiki. He's also got the Wind of Nature, so he has enough defensively, but also offensively to deal with that healing, that sustainability from RRQ Hoshi. Whether that's the Revitalize being dropped down, but so far, even without the Sea Halberd, they've just been able to overload the damage. I mean, look at the shots here. Able to just take down, you know, almost a half health with the Death Sonata alone. The fight once again for the purple buff with the Lord coming up. RRQ Hoshi, they're gonna have to deal with that, so it looks like no purple for Susujin. And we know this is a tough place to be if you're a Ling and you're also just this dependent on the purple buffs. We'll see if they can make a play elsewhere, because right now, Team Liquid ID wants to make their way to the Lord.
Yeah, but they're not going to burst down the Lord just yet, because again, Fabian actually uses Retribution, because that's how much they know how valuable is the purple buff for Susujin. A scaling type of hero needs that purple buff. So right now, TLID, they're just going to play it safe, wait for Fabian's Retribution to be up, and again, look for a proper angle for Widdy to deliver the Way of the Dragon that Jeet Kundu. And the beauty of the lineup of TLID, because of the range that's coming in from Aaron Shiki, it's not even just the Jeet Kundu or Aran's Glorious Pathway that procs the Tempest of Blades from Susujin. Even just the Death Sonata alone sometimes forces Sutsujin to use the Templars of Blades right away.
It's almost enough, and I like that. I like how Witty was just kind of waiting with Fabian there, even as they were pushing down that bottom side, the long lane from this Lord, just to make sure that he can rotate and he's going to be fine, especially when the Retribution's up. So that time is now. Sutsujin picking up the BOD. They'll get the information they need. They're going to rely on Dyron and Edok to go ahead, but it's already going to be taken out. So Fabian gets the Lord. They don't want to fight this, so it looks like RQ will just go ahead and get ready for a defense again. Now breaking down the lineup, they've got a great high ground defense. They've got a great lineup that can actually defend to the base, but right now they want to go ahead and get this purple buff for Sutsujin.
They're going to fight for the purple buff, forcing Dyron to use the split split once again. Here comes the Detonata coming in from Ironshiki, but it's going to get blocked by Rins. And now Witty looking for another angle. Sutsujin just desperately trying to get this purple buff, and TLID will successfully steal it away from him.
All right, so he's not going to have the buff for this. And just, we see this so often now, especially with how popular Granger is. And now that you have a Sky Piercer there, part of the equation, man, you got to have the team to body block the shots, because the Death Sonata is really starting to hurt. Witty picking up this immortality means that he's probably going to force a fight, force a situation or a reaction, utilizing the flicker into the base when they get this ready to set up here. So RQ Hoshi, Skylar, this is his time to shine on the Aerithil. Again, this Aerithil has done wonders for the teams that have brought it to their games. But right now it's dealing with a ranged battle. Rins will also get a Divine Glaive, so perfect timing on the base defense as they try to clear things out. They get the black shoes out.
Okay, they're going to force out the black shoes, plus the Templars of Blades. Here comes the round, going to cut out the exit route with the Glorious Pathway. They're trying to chase right after Sutsujin, but they're not going to mind him anymore. Sets their eyes on the inhibitor turret.
They got the black shoes, they got the flicker down. They still have to deal with the Lord here on the top side. RQ Hoshi wants to hold on to what they can, even if at the expense of the base turrets. Rins though.
Oh, real manipulation, forcing the black shoes once again. This might be a go signal for RRQ Hoshi, but Fabian says no. Cutting off RRQ Hoshi. But still, that was still a good attempt for the Kingdom, because instead of losing all inhibitor turrets, they only lost one. And a lot of credit goes to Sutsujin because they forced out Ezekiel's black shoes right away.
Yeah, I would say successful defense by RQ Hoshi, holding down the walls of the base. Right now, 2 turrets still up. Despite being down this much, still got to give it to their lineup that they have here. Able to go ahead and lock things down. Rins as well. This time, they still get a position because they want to go ahead and allow that purple buff to be secured if it can and go in the hands of Sutsujin. It's going to work on the orange for now, but still, again, RQ Hoshi staying in the game. If they can drag it on a little bit further, they might actually be in a position to contest the next Lord that comes up here, because nearly itemization-wise, they almost have everything they need, at least damage-wise. Now, tankiness, they got to build up a little bit more. Sutsujin also picking up a Malefic Roar. Edok, you know, he's along the way. He's got an anti-Cuirass and a Radiant Armor. That's why you just kind of see him dealing with a lot of the damage. I mean, as tanky as he's supposed to be, as the Spellrick is supposed to be, it just doesn't feel like it. And it's not like you're going to be able to just surprise anyone because of the fact that, you know, they're going to see you coming from a mile away. Yeah, exactly. And they're playing against, too, a Glorious Pathway. Aran has been a really good, I mean, look at this. Look at the Gloom damage.
Okay, they're going to try and work on the Lord and try and burst it down. Ironshiki with that Sonata. Just look at Edok soaking up the damage. Too much. Ironshiki might get a kill onto Edok there. Sutsujin trying to survey the scene. TLID still holding on to this Lord.
Edok able to get away. RWM dropped down. There's a Glorious Pathway, though. The Lord still for the fight.
Sutsujin goes down. Templars of Blade gonna try and catch Ironshiki, but waiting with a Jitkanto kill. Assisted him off to Ironshiki for that huge takedown. An answer for RRQ to bring down Aran. Direct Immortality will be popped and gets a flicker out to safety. But Ironshiki, does he have the ultimate, though? RQ Hoshi manages to lose Sutsujin, but TLID also got the Lord.
The little glues trying to catch up, too, but I'm surprised Dyron stayed alive. Great usage of the flicker. They might, of course, be able to hold on still, as Sutsujin will be up in 20 seconds. They will have the rest of the waves to deal with, but by that time, also, RWM will be back. They'll have everything they need to go ahead and go for the defense, even the Revitalize perhaps here, depending on how long they stall this out. Sutsujin now seconds away from being up, and Team Liquid ID still down Aran. We'll see how they manage this push in. They might just get the 2 base turrets left here.
3D charging up the cheat gun again. He has the flicker. plus the immortality, so they're not afraid to dive in all in. RRQ Hoshi just making quick work up blurred up top. No inhibitor turrets taken down once again. Still so far successful defense for RRQ Hoshi, but this might change if TLID manages to find a proper angle.
Still, these powered waves pushing in. Not sure if they're actually going to be able to get this. They do get a black shoes already out, though, from Yehezkiel. So again, Glorious Pathway, they want to take the bottom turret down.
Okay, gonna try and work on the bottom lane turret, but RRQ
still
Hoshi
up.
was ready for the response.
Wow.
Still saving one more hit of that turret, making sure that the walls of their kingdom are still there.
RQ Hoshi will have, again, you can chalk it up to a successful defense. 21 minutes in as Skylar picks up the Malefic gun. And this has been enough time. Even the fact that a nice Queen Wand now in the hands of Rins, a fight that isn't in favor of Team Liquid ID around the next objective could turn this game completely over on its head. Dyron, though.
They're gonna go all full commit onto Dyron, forcing his split.
Fabian!
Oh, Fabian with the corner! Making sure to break down the tankiest hero of RRQ Hoshi. And now they're in trouble because TLID, they can feel the push that it's coming in onto the middle lane.
They saw what Dyron did earlier. They're not going to let it happen again, and now in the mid.
Waiting with a conceal and a double man knock up. Jade Kundu forcing the Templars of Blades. And I'm just soaking up the damage. He does have to revitalize now. And RRQ Hoshi lost all inhibitor turrets. Aaron Shiki sets his eyes on Suzujin, but Suzujin manages to evade that. They lost Dyron and all their inhibitor turrets.
All the inhibitor turrets taken down. You gotta give it up though, because it's been discipline that has played the part to Team Liquid ID, slowly but surely exposing the base now of RQ Hoshi. You can take a look at the items here once again. Skylar, I mean, finally he gets that Malefic Roar too, so he's locked in, but look at the amount of gold over here for Aaron Shiki, even down to the point where sometimes just switching some of the items. And now that this Lord is up, again, we're going to see if they're able to actually go and fight it off. Dyron and Edok gets whittled down by these damage dealers, even the Blooms alone. Difficult enough to actually find a window to go into here to contest this Lord right now as Fabian holds it together. Witty's positioning as well. Might look for a play, but they take their time. This has been the story so far for Team Liquid ID, is just taking their time when they know that they have somewhat of an advantage against RQ Hoshi, but still respecting how this can change in the course of a team fight.
Yeah, there's a fat wave up top building for TLID. Eventually someone has to deal with the wave up top as Suzujin works on the purple buff. Just looking at the Death Sonata, forcing Rins and Edok to walk away. Aran cuts the exit route off with a glorious pathway, but gonna get a shutdown onto Ezekiel. A kick coming in from Witty. The Immortality will be popped and will be brought down by Aaron Shaky. The Death Sonata was just too much for them to handle as Suzujin will fall down. Now they have to worry about the minions.
The minions are already pushing into the base, but the Lord is secured by Team Liquid ID. And yes, RQ Hoshi will defend the base for now. But again, for how long? And now almost 24 minutes into the game, you already saw how difficult it was. Suzujin is just showing up the front side, gets taken out, and a Winter Crown and a Rose Gold Meteor picked up. Now for this push in, Lord making its way in the mid lane. And this is going to be the true test for RQ Hoshi. This could change the course if they can turn it around. A couple immortalities for them. And still holding on to that wind of nature. Now Lord makes its way into the base. How do they pull this off? Witty goes in.
Okay, there's a conceal. Not gonna commit the Jikundu. Here comes the glorious pathway. They can actually focus on taking down the Crystal. TLID moments away from repeating history and bringing down the kingdom.
5 games. And history for now will be repeated as the cavalry goes through the gates of the kingdom. RRQ Hoshi, as now they're one of the teams to represent Indonesia in the top 4 and going to Axiata Arena. What a match we had. What an evening of matches we've had. Absolute great gameplay, absolute cinema for a lot of people that would be watching this. Again, from the first match to now, it's been great to call the games here. Again, I'm Nice2, that's Singon. We're gonna throw it back to the panel to break down the last game of the series.
A match and what a day. Liquid ID secures Axiata, extending the journey back to where it all started for the kingdom. Gentlemen, was that last chapter in this 5-game series of an epic Worthy.
Definitely worthy. The Cavalry able to withstand their siege and push through the kingdom of RQ Hoshi.
Yeah, I think it was, we got our 20-minute plus. We got our 20 plus on there, so I'm happy with it. I wish it was a little more back and forth. It felt more like RQ was kind of hanging on, just doing the best they could to make that last as far as possible. In the end, TLID, though, a methodical approach, able to just come out on top, get those lords, get those objectives, and eventually smother down onto RQ.
We gave Liquid ID an ultimatum. Come up with something new, a pocket pick, a pocket strat to put them back on the up and up, and here they did. They brought out and debuted successfully a Lilia in the hands of the Ghost of Jakarta, and luckily, despite not picking up a Purify, the Black Shoes was enough to keep him at his quota. Just one death on this Lilia, and all is well. Again, same story here for Weedy. We talked about how the mid was the priority for Team Liquid ID, and they secured both and got the win.
You know, for a second there, I thought we were going to get a repeat of Season 14 of MPLID.
In the upper bracket, yes.
Close.
Close.
But it looks like we got a repeat of history of what we saw in our first series today, when we got to see Fnatic Onyx up against Falcons. Same exact way the matches played out, but they were able to find victory at the very end, able to find their composure. Just imagine if any of these were Game 7s today.
What was that? 14 for us in
14
total?
games, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Why would
Weezy?
you do
Why?
that?
I'm not doing it. They're doing it. All right?
You're putting it out there. Putting the energy out there.
Hey, you can't
I'm not
talk.
vibing with it.
He ate all the Hello Panda today.
Don't
He
bring
does
up the
not
past.
forget.
I have not forgotten.
Never forget.
I've been starving.
This is just how the Florida brothers roll.
How we roll.
You put us together in a hurricane forms, hot and cold.
Ooh.